When I say the trouble with zombies, what do you think of? You probably think of eaten brains. You think of a populace turning into zombies. You think of zombies choking public areas such that the living can't go out. These are actually not the main problems that I'm running into as I try to run this zombie zoo. As I try to run this zombie zoo, the main problem that I'm running into is total crushing FPS death. And there are some solutions, don't worry. I'm sure a lot of people made it to this point in the video and they're like, oh, I know what this is. Don't worry, I've looked into it. So we're going to talk about that today. And we're also going to talk about werebeasts. Because while I was getting this footage and just trying to talk about the trouble with zombies, we were attacked by a were-chameleon, which is actually one I've gotten before. It seems, at least in my experience, for whatever reason, that seems to be an especially common type of were-creature. We're going to take that down. But I think a few of my dwarves did get probably bitten or infected, so they are going to become werebeasts, were-chameleons, as it were. And we're going to talk about what that means as well. So if you're not already familiar with FPS death as a term, you're going to want to learn it, because it is important to know and to manage as a Dwarf Fortress player. Dwarf Fortress is very processor intensive, such that certain things will make your fortress grind to a halt, which still technically playable because you can play Dwarf Fortress frame by frame, with the pause function. You can technically play it frame by frame. And the footage I'm getting, I think if you can see the FPS counter down in the corner, you'll see that it drops pretty painfully low. But so things that can do this and are known to do this are flowing water, especially, so like water that falls straight down is less problematic than water that is spreading constantly. When you have a spill and you see, like, if you enable the numbers, you'll see like certain levels are at 2, and those 2s will jump all around the surface of the water to literally simulate waves accurately. So you'll see, but same as in games with better graphics, where if you water processing is intensive, simulating water, it takes a lot of effort. So things like that. In this case, FPS death is caused by the fact that any bit of flesh from something that has been marked as reviving as undead becomes its own creature, bothers living creatures, often overpowers them, because one of the abilities that zombies have is that they have unnatural strength and they're very slow to tire and things like that. So they will just attack and attack and attack and attack until they get what they want, or they're completely destroyed. And if they're incompletely destroyed, then it's like they've divided by mitosis. So take, for example, if you take we have these king snakes that often come back as zombies on this map. And maybe an owl or something attacks it and kills it. And both halves of that king snake are now independent zombies that are going to go make trouble. And that happens for every creature on the map. So it becomes this fractalizing, even if you can't see them in your others list, even if your dwarves haven't detected them yet. Every single bit of flesh from any zombie that ever got hacked off, every time you knock a zombie down, you make a few more little zombie bits, often, until you eventually crush it out, like a fire, until you absolutely stamp it out. But the animals are just zombies and animals are just fighting everywhere on this map. And my dwarves don't even see it. It doesn't matter. It's like a wild animal and a zombie, so nothing from our fortress actually clocks it. But then they both get shredded apart. They both become zombies, and now there's 8 new little NPCs sneaking around in my grass. So that's very, very problematic, and it is causing FPS death. Let me get to the solution real quick before we move on to werebeasts, because I want to be a tease about that. There is a solution built into DF Hack specifically. So if you haven't installed DF Hack yet, go back to my first video about that and try to figure that out. Good luck to you. Again, when you mod the game, it's not on me. You do that at your own risk. But in DF Hack specifically, there is a command called Starving Dead, which will cause all zombies to age out and be deleted, basically. So zombies you can think of it as starving, but basically it starts a counter and it says, okay, zombie, you can exist for, I think it's like 6 months in game. So something like 18 days in Dwarf Fortress. I think that's right. I think it's 3 days to a month, and it's 6 months. But so it'll at least do cleanup. It'll periodically clean up all the zombies as a little bit of a stopgap solution. Just be aware that if you try to start a zombie zoo like me and you're just trying to go crazy with zombies and be messy with them, kill them, capture them if you can, but then bash them to death, back to death if they're causing too much trouble or they can't be captured, stuff like that, you're gonna get FPS death. And that's the trouble with zombies. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. So now it is time to talk about werebeasts, because you'll see in this footage, if it hasn't already started, We get attacked by a werebeast while we are monitoring the zombies on this map, and we do take it down with no hacks besides the one. So these dwarves were training on Fast Dwarf for a while, so I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, in DF Hack, I think that when you have dwarves set to Fast Dwarf and then you let them train, I think they train faster. So these dwarves are all more seasoned than they should have been at this point in the map, but they take it down, and now I'll probably have 3 were-chameleons in my hospital soon if I can keep playing this map. This map, I'm sorry, I know that this map is interesting, but I think it might be ruined with FPS death, so I'll report back and get you all that content. I owe people an undead whale. I owe people more werebeast content. I don't forget. I'm just bad at this game. Okay, but so werebeasts. How it works is if you get bitten by one, which is actually, the way they figure that out is literally, I think, claws or teeth attacks that tear the skin in combat, then you are infected. I guess it's just like Bloodborne, or it's on their claws or whatever. But so anything that breaks the skin, they will be infected as a werebeast. And then once a month, actually, you can mark it on your calendar. It's kind of like, if you have any medication that you take monthly, you can mark it on your calendar and be like, tonight's the werebeast night. So, same way in real life, I suppose, as well. You look up at the full moon and you say, oh yeah, that's right, it's right on time. But so if you go to the Wikia, the Dwarf Fortress Wikia, you can actually just mark those days on your Dwarf Fortress calendar and do some interesting things with werebeasts where you just kind of lock them up, keep them safe while they're out of pocket, so to speak. And you can use them for combat. Werebeasts will bust out of most clothes and destroy the clothes item, but they can wear leather, I think, and they can wield some weapons. So there's interesting stuff you can do. I'm not sure if there is any cure. You can become a werebeast. It's a curse, technically. Vampirism and were creatures is cursing. So I'm not sure. I honestly don't know much about it. I know in DF Hack you can remove and set such statuses, but I don't know in the lore of the game how you might cure a werebeast if there is a way. Can be very problematic. Can cause. Oh, this is really interesting. So they can cause a loyalty cascade, which is a bug that exists in some versions of Dwarf Fortress. It comes and goes. But it's not even fair to call it a bug because it's just complicated procedural generation. It might be a feature if, say I'm a werewolf and I'm a werewolf because you just saw me transform and I just killed somebody. But now I'm a human and then I'm a dwarf in this scenario, I guess. Now I've transformed back into a dwarf and you run me through with a sword and kill me, ending this werewolf problem. But somebody else in the fortress saw you kill me as a human, and this is why it's registered as a bug, because this is a little weird. They somehow don't understand or don't register, I guess maybe they didn't see, that I was a were creature and hostile just a second ago, and then whoever saw you stab me, basically the fortress, sorry, this analogy got too complicated, but the fortress will split into chaos, will become a civil war. I think Tarn, one of the Dwarf Fortress developers, calls it the Civil War bug. Because the dwarves will take sides according to who their best friends and their family are. Basically, the more I think about it, the more it doesn't seem like a bug. The more it seems like really cool procedurally generated content. All right, I think I already talked over all of the footage I have. I might even have to slow down one of these clips just to get all my voice in. So I'm gonna let everybody go. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you made it this far. It really does. It helps my channel. If you can like, subscribe, or comment, that helps us grow this channel, helps me grow this channel, us if you're invested. But yeah, thank you. Thanks everybody, as always, for listening, and I'll catch you soon.